All right, a very good morning. Happy Assumption Day. Today is 15th of August 2023. We are celebrating the feast of the Assumption Day. So today you will be talking around these areas. So this is for Christians who have really dedicated their life to some of the spiritual aspects. Maybe for those who believe so much into Christianity, today we expect you to really rush to your church and be able to pray with the congregation together to maybe praise the mother of Jesus Christ, who really did a lot in giving us this first son of God. Okay, now maybe before we go to any of the stories further within Westnile or maybe international, let me introduce my colleague Farish Majid, who is with me here on the studios of Westnile Television, and we'll be discussing so much of the things around here. This is the KOKOLIRIKO show on Westnile Television here on Weatherhead Park Lane in Arua City. Maybe Farish, you're most welcome.
Thank you, Frederick. Good morning, our dear viewer. This is Westnile Television, and my name is Farish Majid, as earlier introduced by Frederick Ramadri, and we are here to take you up the hour of 9 a.m. Frederick, today is one of the big days, I guess, but you have not invited me. I expected you to be telling me, Farish, today you come and we go and eat chicken because it is an important day.
I've just rallied people to go to the church. Now after the church, we will talk about the feast.
We expect chicken now.
Yeah, those are the things. For us, we don't know how to make shulu like the Muslims, but we will do all the needful around this and maybe make some rice, some meat, muchomo, and so on. You eat something there. But first thing first, we have so many issues around Emyoga that so many young people have been saying they have been left out. Much as government rolled this program out, there were all categories that were labeled and will be accommodated around this. And this was corrected by the coming of the parish development model that the country is also looking at, now tapping those who missed in the Emyoga program, because this Emyoga program was really so much into savings, so much into lending and so on. Those were the things that were around that area, and it really focused so much into the people who really know something little about finances and so on. But now PDM came in the mix to really go to those in the rural settings who can really not do much in the commercial agriculture, or maybe who are not there in the employment sector, but here come to Westnile. We saw yesterday a regional meeting that has been organized in order to really acquaint some of the circle groups and also reawaken them, because majority of the circles under the 18 enterprises have been really idle. They have not really been performing. That is according to some of the focal point persons, especially the commercial officers, that really so much is going into waste. Most of the groups have disintegrated. Maybe Farish Mazid, what idea do you have on some of the operations of some of the circles that we have in within the region? How are they really moving on with this program? Is it really impacting on the livelihoods of the people? Are people taking up the programs seriously, or really people are joking around them? Maybe Faris, you can pick it from there.
It is very complex understanding the issues of these government projects that are meant to eradicate the masses out of poverty. First of all, this is not the first time we are having a government project. We have had other projects before. We had the youth livelihood, we had the Ntandikwa, we had the Bonabagagawale. But all have yet to yield their mission of eradicating the masses out of poverty, and this could be due to a number of reasons. First of all, the involvement of the masses. In my own view, not everybody is being involved in these projects. If you have to look at the project that is currently going on, the PDM, just on Saturday, the youths were out there complaining about these projects here. They were saying they have been sidelined in some of the issues in terms of decision making, which I believe they were saying, what they were saying was most of the leaders who were involved in these projects have sidelined them out. First of all, if you have to look at the design of the projects, that is one issue they were raising. Those people who are designing the projects did not, I think, seek for the views of the youth, so they were in the process. They were not involved. So I think the youths have the point in terms of complaining about the issues concerning these programs. Now, secondly, there's something that is being going on. I think we need to also talk about the design of the programs. If you have to look at the parish development model right now, people who are involved in it, you will tell me it is mostly women. If you move to the banks, you have been to the banks, you have seen how many people are there. How many categories of people go there, you have seen with your own eyes, at least you have been observant. If you're moving out, you can tell how these people are always there and how they have been going for these projects. That goes back to the designs, and now the masses are taking some of these projects to be for the women. If you have to look at the parish development model, it is mostly the women who are involved and not all classes of women. If you have to look at the kind of women who are involved in it, Frederick, you can tell. Mostly it is people of the other background. Yet these programs are for all the youths who feel they are not in the money economy. It is to move them out of the poverty. But if you have to look at the design of the programs, you can tell, Frederick, mostly it is a class of people, a particular class, I should make it that way, a particular class of people who are involved in these projects here. Not everybody is being involved in the projects. If you have to move to the banks, you want observation, you can tell it is mostly women. And that time somebody was telling me, why are the youths of this town and the people of the town not involved in these projects? And yet we continue to complain of poverty. That is one issue that has been there. Not everybody is being involved, and some of the people are abandoning these programs. They are not taking the programs seriously. Yet these programs are meant to transform them out of poverty, and they still continue to cry the government that the government is not doing enough. Yet when such programs come, they are not being involved in the decision making. So I think that is one issue that is still surrounding all these programs. And to the policymakers, let them at least seek for the people's views, these views that have been raised. Let them take them seriously. Maybe at the end of the day, we shall see these programs yielding success.
All right, if you look at some of these enterprise groups, you look at some of them, especially the women entrepreneurs, maybe the market vendors. These are the groups that are really performing well, including the saloon operators. But where are the artists? Where are the journalists? Where are the rest of the groups where mostly young people have really joined in big numbers? So these are the things that we really need to understand so much. And maybe within the scope of the project, this really focused on maybe expanding some of these groups. But we have seen some of these circles really being operated with few numbers. In terms of cooperatives, cooperatives are always about numbers. People who are able to transact in large numbers, they have big profits. So if you have limited number, this is one thing we really need to advocate for. And also the issues around the leadership of some of these groups. Most of the cooperatives fail from the leadership. In case management is not really doing much, in case the board that is maybe suggested by the group members are really performing to the test, and then we have a lot of questions to answer around the performance of such groups. So these are the things that we really need to so much look into. That's where we will be able to do much into improving the household income, also the issues around money moving around the communities, because I'm meant to understand that this we are to alleviate people from poverty. So commercial officers, you have a lot to do in relation to increasing the services of maybe rendering services of education, sensitization of all these members of the groups, so that people are able to really get the meaning and what really government wanted from this. Maybe also from the design of the projects, where these projects really consultative, where they're there to really make everyone look at where the loopholes are or not. Maybe can we start bridging that gap of hybrid kind of maybe government deciding for the people?
Frederick, talking about bridging the gap, there is still a lot that needs to be done in the form of sensitization of the masses. Frederick, people are looking out for this. Why most of these projects have failed is some people think it is their money. They do not see it as money for the whole public. They think it is their own private money. So when these monies come, we see people swindling the funds. People at times getting this money and eating them without necessarily minding of what they are supposed to be doing. So that really goes back to the society, because this money is meant to transform the masses out of poverty. And we continue to complain of poverty, yet these programs are there. And that time we were talking about the youth embracing these projects here. Still, I want to interest myself with the youths because I'm a youth. I want to appeal to all the youths out there. These projects, we should not undermine them. These projects can play a great role. Look at somebody who is crying of capital. You have the ideas, but you may be lacking capital. So when such funds come, we can actually take the funds seriously. We can use them as profits and put the monies into productive ventures. Maybe at the end of the day, we shall be able to move away from poverty, which is still very much common with the youth. It is commonly biting us, the youth, and we continue to cry of poverty. But if we are able to put the monies of the governments into proper use, maybe at the end of the day, we'll be seeing these projects yielding what is expected out of them. And that goes back to still the policymakers. Let them sensitize the masses about these monies here. When these funds come, we should not just eat them. People sometimes think this is their own money. They want to use them for marriages. They want to use them for parties. Yet these monies are meant to transform the masses out of poverty, not necessarily for the enjoyments which they want to use this money for. So it really goes back to the policymakers, to the production officers who are at the village level. It is upon them to go to the village levels and sensitize the masses before receiving these funds here. Because if somebody is not sensitized, we will be always having that mindset of this is my money. I can be able to chew it and nothing happens to me. And still, people chew this money. At that time, I was attending a meeting of one of the circles, Frederick. It was for the PWDs. They had a complaint of where some people borrowed money, but they have never refunded. And there's nothing that they can be, the association was able to do to them. They are looking for means of recovering these funds here. So that still goes back to the production officers, to all the relevant stakeholders. Once this money is given out, and to the people who are not paying, we should always have means of recovering the funds, because these are government funds. These are not our private funds. So in case somebody is out there chewing this money, we should always have means of recovering the funds. That is what I can make out of this.
Yes,
and maybe.
Okay. Let's keep that to that. And if you look at some of these interventions, really, government has injected so much into the issues of eradicating poverty. But now the honors come to all of us, the community members and all the beneficiaries, that if we cannot really do much in helping government to eradicate poverty, then there's nothing that government will do beyond maybe financing and giving us the opportunity to take from these kind of things. There's no one who can give you money at a free cost. So when money comes to you and they tell you that really multiply this, you'll be able to give our capital to a colleague, maybe a neighbor of yours, so that he's able to also make some money from out of maybe what you received. This will be one thing that we should be focusing on, and we should impress it. These are the things that we really need to focus so much on. Maybe away from Westnile, let's talk about Ugandan traders really decrying the low sale of the local tilapia that we have, that were donated under the Operation Wealth Creation in Westnile region. So much has been talked about the tilapia fish that comes from the South Sudan region, that country where tilapia is really harvested in large scale. So this came like a boom in the region, and right now, if you look at the cost of selling tilapia, it is so mean. Like the imported one that is from South Sudan goes between 2,000 to 5,000. So what about this person who has been venturing into the fish ponds and so on, really growing all these fish and now bringing it to the market after all these expenses of feeding the fish, doing this is very so much perturbing. Also, we have seen the traders protesting up to the ministry. In their letter, they said really they are not satisfied with what is going on. The fish is going out of the market and they are making a lot of losses, mainly furries.
Yes,
they have counted that annually they really get a loss of 1 billion Ugandan shillings. So will people really recover from all this? Maybe Faris, you can...
The complaints concerning fish traders, Frederick, currently it is a national issue. We have had mongers and fish traders complaining from the other lakes. And the complaint is that sometimes the working environment is not suitable for them. They have always raised about complaints about people who have been on the water bodies, the marines. So that is really a challenge to them. Talking about the market, I've really interacted with some of the traders. I've been to the market. You can tell sometimes the fish is just there idle, and people invest millions and millions of amounts in this trade here. If you move there, you can see trailers coming, and these trailers, for them to bring the fish from South Sudan to here, you can tell how much it costs. So it is really a difficult situation. The traders, which I think needs to be up, but the quality, it still goes back to the quality of the fish that is being imported. Frederick, you can side with me. Why these people have always raised complaints is the public. Why the public is not purchasing? Because this is where the public comes in now. First of all, there are complaints about the taste of the fish itself. Then secondly, the smell of the fish. People have always raised complaints in that line about the fish that comes from South Sudan. That is why people still want to go for what? For the locally scooped fish from our water bodies here from Panyamuru, which is also facing a lot of difficulties because transporting it from there, these fish traders are also complaining of a number of challenges, most especially in terms of URA, and then the other bodies that do not allow these people carry on the trade. So it is really a difficult situation.
Let's hold it there. Let's take a short break, and then we'll come back. We'll be able to take it from this tilapia fish issue, and then we'll move to the national story that has really resurfaced. Yes, okay, let's take a break, and then we'll come back.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region. Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Star TV with StarTimes Inside Technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTimes antenna and satellite signal. With StarTimes Inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Right, welcome back from that commercial break. We were talking about the issues to do with the fish from South Sudan that has really pushed away the local tilapia that is grown here in Uganda. Remember, most of the fish farmers in Western region received a number of batches of fingerlings from the Operation Wealth Creation, around 1,000 something. Over 1,000 something over the years, and this has continued to be a challenge because people grow the fish and it doesn't have market. This is because the fish from South Sudan has pushed all the fish dealers in Arua and also some parts of this region out of the market, because the fish from South Sudan is really cheap. Now, looking at the letter that has been drafted by the Fishmongers Association in Arua City, they have said at least annually they lose 1 billion Ugandan shillings from the fish that they grow from the fish ponds. Maybe Faris, we are talking about how this fish from South Sudan looks like and what really it has on the market of Arua or the Westnile region generally, because this fish is sold in most of the markets from Pakwat up to Arua.
Talking about what the people of Arua want, first of all, this is a quantity product. It is very big. If you look at the size, my grandfather loves it so much because he always compliments on the size of the fish. So,
and it is cheap.
And it is cheap. Yes. And if you have to look at the thickness, it is very thick. And for the people who love it, they always tell. And when it cooks for long, it becomes okay. It becomes delicious. But the problem with me still is that I'm not a fan of this fish. It goes back to the time it takes. Because it really takes long to cook, but when it is properly cooked, it is usually good. But I'm not a fan of this fish. And where the issue of this fish pushing out our locally grown fish, tilapia, is coming in this way. Our fish that is locally grown, first of all, the prices are too high. If you are to move 6,000 to 7 to 10, sometimes up to 15. And you are buying fish at that price. So
don't you think this is coming because of the expenses that our people incur in growing this fish?
Obviously, our businessmen who venture into this business of ponds will incur a lot of costs. If you can tell, Frederick, how much money you will take in treating the fish. First of all, digging out the ponds, how much expensive it is. And it does not only remain there. You have to take care of this fish here. You have to give the fish food. You have to do a lot of things, treat the water bodies, so it really goes back to them, because there is a lot of money that is being ventured into these businesses. That is why at the end of the day, you will find that the prices have to be very much minimal to them, but to the public it becomes very much. If you are to say something is 8,000, how much money is the public going to purchase a fish? Because if you are buying one at 7,000 and you're in a family, you know the nature of our families, we are living in an extended way of life. Our families are still extended, whereby you are living with the grandparents, you're living with the mothers, you're living with the aunties, you're living with relatives, but you have to eat. And you just tell how much quantity you need maybe to feed all these people sufficiently. So it really goes back to the sellers. That is why my question goes, if they are maybe able to reduce on the price, like how this fish of Sudan has dropped prices, but still, these people are even crying for market. If you move there, you can see sometimes there's no fish. Sometimes you see trawlers coming and there's no market. They have always also raised these complaints. They do not want to only stop on the local tilapia growers. But still, it goes back to all the fish traders in general. Why is fish expensive? Why don't we lower the cost for the public? Because our locally grown fish, first of all, I believe I do not have any statistics, but I think it is more delicious than what is coming from South Sudan. So why don't we lower the costs? Maybe at the end of the day, see that the local market purchases this fish in a way that is very easy for them. So I think it goes back to the fish traders. If they are able to lower the costs, maybe at the end of the day, we shall be seeing this fish that comes from South Sudan kicked off the market.
All right, let's look at the issues of quality assurance of the fish really that is being imported, because we have the laws that are governing around this aquaculture, the issues to do with trade, the international trade, how really we are supposed to transact money or maybe businesses around food that is imported. Is this really assured? Because we have seen people who have testified that this fish really does them very bad, like people who maybe they have not taken much into really preparing it well. They have testified that they have ever vomited and so on. There are a lot of things around this kind of fish. So what do we have to do in relation to really bringing back the monies that government has really injected in the operation wealth creation to distribute all these fish to the farmers? And also, how much do these farmers spend? And then if we were to lower the cost of the fish that comes within, that is grown within Uganda, then that means we're trading on loss just because somebody is bringing something whose quality we don't know is really maybe making people fluctuate some of these prices, reduce them, maybe sometimes increase them. And yet we buy the fish feeds at a very expensive money. Maybe let's move away from the issues around fish. We leave it to government to decide on whether to rescue the farmers, the fish farmers, from the cost of the fish, or we leave it to that the fishmongers maybe continue with those kind of challenges that they are experiencing all the time. Maybe Faris, let's move away from the issues of Operation Wealth Creation fish that is being pushed out of the markets in Western region due to the imported fish from South Sudan. Let's focus now on to the issues of the Iron Seat saga resurrecting after the office of Prime Minister and police really invaded somebody's home in Tebe and recovered over 200 iron seats. A story that was published on the New Vision today. Maybe Faris, what do you make of this? Does it mean so much of the iron seat is still at large?
Me, that is what I believe, and this issue of this iron sheets is returning at a time where the public is almost forgetting about it. So it is timely that maybe what the authorities can do is check out on some of the iron sheets that are still with the public. Frederick, if you had to look, these iron sheets were meant to benefit the people of Karamoja, but that did not happen. Some individuals, we are smartly, I want to say they were smartly, but they were not.
In quotes.
They were, smartly in quotes, they were able to take these iron sheets and take them for their own usages, but now it is time for them to return the iron sheets, because you have to give what belongs to Caesar. So the people of Karamoja still need their iron sheets. We need to give them back their iron sheets and let the authorities also up their game in seeing that the iron sheets are recovered. So I believe the iron sheets are still very much with the public. If we are able to recover about 200 iron sheets, I think, how many were there?
I don't know now.
So if we're able to because and that similarly shows that there are still very many iron sheets that are still lying idle within the communities. So it is upon them to do up their game in terms of recovering these iron sheets here. Because I believe the iron sheets are still there with the public, and there are some who are still hiding with these iron sheets in their stores, maybe in their workshops. So it is upon the government to up their game in terms of recovering these iron sheets here, because there was a lot of taxpayers' money that was ventured for purchasing these iron sheets here by the office of the Prime Minister. So I think what the authorities can do is up their game and recover the iron sheets and give them back to the people who are supposed to receive them. That is maybe that will make justice to the people of Karamoja, because they are really vulnerable, just like other communities. These people are vulnerable. We know how Karamoja has been. We know the kind of image Karamoja has been painted. So why don't we change the people of Karamoja's lives by giving back the iron sheets? So I think what the authorities need to do is that let them up their game, let them recover the iron sheets and hand them over, because there's also a possibility of these iron sheets missing again after them being recovered. So what do we do? Let them do this is my own appeal now.
Yes.
What the authorities need to do is that after recovering these iron sheets, hold the people who stole them responsible and then hand the iron sheets back to the people who are supposed to receive them. In that way we will be able to give justice to the people of Karamoja. But
we have seen so much done by government to really fight corruption around OPM, and this really followed so much into the arrests of some of the ministers, some of the maybe the permanent secretary. We saw some of them also really brought to really make statements over the iron seat. But we thought by now some rulings might have been done, but we have not had that. Anyway, that is still within courts of law, and really the issues to do with the iron seats, really it is very, very perturbing, because this was really a donation, something that is given to the people of Karamoja sub-region to really make them really feel like they are in Uganda, because look at the housing that they have. Look at also the way of life that they live. How, when and how will they transform when really things that are really given to them are not really reaching the beneficiaries? This is very, very unfortunate, and we really expect that those who are investigating this kind of matter should be able to expedite on the processes, so that really the people really receive some of these items that are needed so much. Maybe Faris, away from the iron seat saga, we saw UNEP, the Uganda National Examinations Board, put in a timeline up to Monday for the schools to display the names of candidates who are registering to sit for exams from primary up to secondary level. So maybe what does this mean? We have seen a lot to do with missing names, missing index numbers, missing results, issues of also results not coming out because of some of these irregularities from the primary stages. Now that this deadline has come, what does this mean to the schools we have?
First of all, Frederick, we are now living in a world that does not require for the stakeholders, for the teachers to travel up to Kampala. They can do this from their offices. So I think it is timely that these names must be displayed to the learners. They have to know who is registered, who is not registered, who will qualify at the end of the day. Because, first of all, I was following this story yesterday. It has a number of irregularities. First of all, in terms of misplacement of gender. Some people were male and you find they were stated as female, and you find females stated as males. So I think it is upon the teachers to correct these mistakes before it is too late. So I think it is timely, such that the learners also get to settle and they know that at such a time T, I'll be able to be going for my exams. So I think it is timely. It comes at a time where we expect it. So it is called for. Let the learners, let the teachers who are responsible make sure that they display the names before it is too late. Because we have had scenarios, Frederick, whereby some people think they are registered. You have had scenarios over the years. I think this is going to be addressed. Whereby people take money from learners. We had these scenarios. We have seen them happening in Uganda. So I think it is timely. This is called for. I welcome it. I do not take it in bad faith. I think it is called for. Because at the end of the day, let the learners know they qualify to sit for the exams. Let them be aware that they will be sitting for the exams. Other than keeping somebody there preparing from senior 1 up to senior 4 in November, and then you just come up and show up you show up only to find out that you have not qualified to sit for the exams. Why? And you're not registered by UNEP. You're not registered by UNEP to sit for the exams. So it is really perturbing, and it is called for. Let the stakeholders who are responsible make sure that they display the names to the learners before it is too late, so that the learners get to know exactly what they will be doing, maybe in terms of preparations for the exams. I think that will yield much. In terms of avoiding issues of corruption. We have seen corruption by some head teachers who take money from learners and they do not register them. I think that is going to be addressed by this. I welcome it. I welcome the move.
For sure. The issues of corruption, we really expect that head teachers, the administrators of these schools, should be able to dance to the tune of UNEP. The rules, I mean the rules that have been set to really make this verification exercise go very smoothly. We don't want to hear that maybe a national or a refugee has been charged this much, yet the rule is saying the other thing. That is very, very unfortunate. That if you are caught, I think you should be charged, because now in this era we don't expect those kind of things to happen. Also, the issues of checking the names of the children, the candidates, I mean, it's very paramount. We have seen these issues of you are not really going to get jobs in government entities because your names are not matching. Maybe your index number, okay, let's forget about the index number. The age, okay, these things need to be edited. We know much as we're using computers, there are people who cannot really look at those letters very well. So those are the things we really need to do much into improving the education sector. Also, this is the time schools should expedite on the issues of revisions for the pupils, the learners, and so on. We have seen some schools already going for holidays. I don't know if this has been done by them. But if it has not been done, we expect them to really call back these candidates to go and check on their names so that it is really the rightful one. So let's take a short break. After the break, we'll be expecting guests. If they are not around, we'll continue from there.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Star TV with StarTimes Inside Technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTimes antenna and satellite signal. With StarTimes Inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt. Brand new Global Star TV with StarTimes Inside Technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTimes antenna and satellite signal. With StarTimes Inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Star TV with StarTimes Inside Technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTimes antenna and satellite signal. With StarTimes Inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region. Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Star TV with StarTimes Inside Technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTimes antenna and satellite signal. With StarTimes Inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region. Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
new Global Star TV with StarTimes Inside Technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTimes antenna and satellite signal. With StarTimes Inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region. Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Star TV with StarTimes Inside Technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTimes antenna and satellite signal. With StarTimes Inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Right, welcome back from that commercial break. We apologize that it was really extended, but we call you back for this show, that is the KOKOLIRIKO live on Westnile television. My name is Frederick Tramadri. I am here with the guests from Westnile Rural Electrification Company, Westnile, that is really mandated right here in this region to distribute power to the consumers all over around the region here. So we will be discussing so much into the issues of connectivity, the issues of responses towards maybe defaults or technical challenges, shortfalls, and so on. All those that you have been raising throughout the week. Last week we have been receiving numerous complaints from people that there's a lot to do with Westnile, that they have been here within the region, but they have not received the power to the test that they have been really yearning for. I have to my left the technical person that is there to do with networks, that is Enoch. Maybe Enoch, you're most welcome to the studios of Westnile Television.
Thank you very much, Frederick. Enoch Mutinga, the network manager of Westnile. I'm excited to be here today to talk to the customers in the region.
All right, that is him. We have also to my right the public relations officer of Westnile Rural Electrification Company, that is Judith. Judith, you're most welcome to the studios.
Good morning, dear viewers. I'm Wangwish Judith, the public relations and communications officer for Westnile Rural Electrification Company Limited.
Okay, we'll be quite a bit very fast, and as we are running out of time, we apologize that if you are really following us on YouTube, we will be ready there to read your comments, much as we will not give so much time to receive direct calls. So this is where we are starting from. Maybe in terms of connectivity, Judith, let me start from you. Westnile Rural Electrification Company has stayed here for quite a while. How far have we gone with connecting our clients?
Yeah, dear viewers and the moderator, I want to thank you for this precious opportunity that you've given me to talk and explain the issues surrounding connectivity. When you look at the history or since inception, you can really see that there is a great works being done on the network in terms of extensions and expansion. The company, when you look at its inception in 2003, we had a network coverage of about 47 kilometers, but then we were only serving about 894 customers. To date, we have a customer base of about 23,000 customers. So that alone explains to you that actually we have reached most parts of the region. However, there are also new lines that have been constructed, and there is still a lot being done around connectivity, meaning there are more customers that we are bringing on board.
Okay. All right, let's leave Judith there. Let's come to Enoch. Enoch, there is a lot of concerns about some of the districts in the region that are only witnessing poles. They are not seeing electricity. What is the challenge? How far have you gone with extending this electricity to the rural districts?
Thank you very much, Frederick. And I think Judith has laid a good background of the growth of the network in Westnile. It has been a staged growth. 2003, when UEB wound up operations here in Westnile, it was a very small isolated network. Isolated networks in Arua, isolated networks in Nebi and Paita. What Wenreco did was to combine these networks and make it a bigger network. In 2013, government, KFW, Wenreco, and other development partners came on board for the Westnile electricity expansion project. That's the project that took electricity to Koboko, to Yumbe, it took electricity to Pakwach, to Parombo, and all the other key strategic points in Westnile. But as you've rightly said, there are still some shadows, some areas where this network has not reached. There has been a big network that has gone into Terego and covered some parts of Maracha, some parts of Yumbe. That line has not yet been commissioned. There's a line that's going through picking electricity from the point of MTC, going into Obongi, trying to connect to Rhino Camp. That line has not yet been commissioned. There's a World Bank project that has added 22 transformers in the region. Those projects have not yet been commissioned. So this year, 2023, going
Maybe where are these 22 poles going? Where are they going?
22 transformers are spread throughout the region. So there are areas, for example, where the line just passes you. So if you don't have transformer, while you can see the electricity, it only passes you. So that particular project is trying to identify some key trading centers where this is going to happen. So this year, we expect all these projects to come on board. And then going forward, there's a very big project nationwide called the Scale-Up Project for Electricity for the Nation. So that one is the one we expect to cover all the other areas where there are gaps. Surveying has been done throughout the region to identify these areas, and we are working with government closely to ensure that those areas are covered.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe let's come to Judith. Judith, there are issues around the relationship between Westnile Rural Electrification Company and Electromax. How far has this gone? Because we have seen a lot of issues in relation to who is there to generate power, who is there to maybe distribute power, and so on. All this has been in the public domain, and the question comes to the issues of load shedding. This has been resulting from that kind of conflict? How is the relationship as of now?
I want to make this clear, dear moderator. Westnile is an independent company, and Electromax is also an independent company that was contracted by government to come and step in the gap that Westnile couldn't fill. You know very well that we are generating at 3.5. That is our capacity that Nyagak is giving, and the peak demand for the region per last year, I think, was about 6.9. That means we are almost 7 megawatts. That means the deficit is almost 3.5. So when this gap came in around 2017, Electromax was contracted by government to come in as a person who is coming to fill the gap that had come since there was increased demand in the region. Now, most times when we are telling the public that I am doing load shedding, because then available source of generation that used to fill the gap is no longer available. Electromax last operated. Is not there now? It last operated, I think, on the 28th of December 2022. To date, they have never run those generators. Okay. So currently we still have two sources of power or sources of supply. We are tapping from Oluyo to supplement. You can imagine if the region was running only on Westnile, the type of load shedding we would be having. That means it would have been massive compared to what it is right now. So since the power coming from Oluyo is only in position to supply the lower belt, that means the part of the region that is part of Zumbo, Nyapea, coming via Vura to Yumbe is still being run on Nyagak.
So are you confirming to the region that Westnile is solely relying on Westnile as of now? Is that what you're confirming?
I think, unfortunately, I am not saying that it is solely relying on Westnile. I made it clear that we have two sources of supply. There's power that is coming from Oluyo and the Westnile, like Nyagak. But I was trying to explain that Nyagak is supplying this side of the region from Nyapea via Vura to Yumbe. So that means Paitha to Pakwach is on national grid. It's not being supplied by Nyagak. However, when you notice at around 11 in the night, there is a slight on and off. That means at that time when the load reduces, Nyagak takes over the entire region.
Okay. All right, that is from the Public Relations Officer, Westnile Rural Electrification Company. Maybe let me come to the network engineer. The issues around load shedding have been so much, and that is what we are witnessing all over wherever you go. And if you look at the operations of the electricity companies, those are some of the issues that people have been really complaining about. Much as we talk about that synchronization of power from Westnile to I don't know, Electromax and the other ones from the Nyagak region, Nyagak power plant. So those are some of the things that has been really in the public domain. Maybe network engineer, can you put some light on why these load sheddings continue, much as we're advocating for now the stable power that is able to run factories that we have in this region? Yes.
Thank you very much, Frederick, and that is a very good question. I know the public is interested in understanding what the issue is.
Yes.
The issue is growth. Westnile is a growing region. It's a region that's growing every month. It's a region that has grown consistently over the last decade. So the 3.5 megawatts capacity, as Judith has said, from Nyagak is not adequate for the region. it is a good problem to have, okay? What it means is that the region demands more. The region demands more from all of us, from all partners on board. And especially, the region demands more from government. And I think that's something that is clear.
Yes.
When RECO's mandate is to run the 3.5 megawatt power plant, and then to distribute power that is available in the region. So if the 3.5 megawatts is not enough, we go to government and say, what are your plans for the region? As a distributor, we need enough electricity to supply to our customers. So that's what is happening. There are other power plants being developed in the region, but as Judith has rightly pointed out, for now, we are getting alternative supply from the national grid. It has helped a lot in the last, from last year, you know, up to this year, it has helped a lot. Without it, we would be in a very critical situation. And the good thing is that the main grid, the 132 kV, is coming into the region. That is what you've been saying, that, you know, power that's able to run, you know, at an industrial scale, you know, different options of factories in the region. All the opportunities that we have been talking about as a region will be fulfilled when that comes, you know, into the region.
Okay, maybe as a technical person, what is the demand of this region, if we look at that from that perspective? Because I know you as the distributor, the generator, and so on, you might have a clue of what really what percentage or what amount of power would be really enough for this region to consume. Maybe can we have that estimate from you? Yes, Enoch, you can pick it from there.
Yeah. Thank you, Frederick. As Judith rightly said, currently the demand is at 7 megawatts. But we know as a region, it is a region that has been suppressed. Electricity grows organically. That means first you need to avail it to the people. You know, I know all customers in the region can relate to the growth of demand in their own homes. Most times people start with basic lighting, you know, then a person acquires a TV, then a person gets a fridge. Then there are those who upgrade to cooking with electricity. So it is growth that, you know, comes up organically. But the first thing is to make sure that this electricity reaches all our people. And then, you know, that growth can be achieved. But for now, the 7 megawatts is still a suppressed demand. That means the potential for the region is much bigger. The capacity of the substation in Muni is a 40 megawatts times 2. The one in Nebi is a 40 megawatts times 2. You know, so it's 80 megawatts here, 80 megawatts in Nebi. So the challenge is back to the region now. You know, are we ready to use this capacity that's coming into the region?
Don't you think people have that demand for power to consume all that you said might be really excess for the region? Don't you think there's demand in this region?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's demand. You know, there's demand. But in most cases, the domestic demand grows organically. That's what I've said. Okay. So the electricity will have to be given to people. People will start with the lowest level. People will start with lighting. People will start with TVs that are very energy efficient. You know, but there are people who will upgrade to cooking. But now, as a region, for example, as a Westnile Chamber of Commerce, the District Chamber of Commerce, we need to reach out to industrialists. We need to talk to our sons and daughters of the soil to establish industries and factories in the region to be able to use that huge capacity, because that's what drives growth, the industrialization of a region. But it's also critical, as you've said, that there's domestic demand that needs to be harnessed, and that has to be done by ensuring that, you know, transformers reach the last customer. Okay. You know, that the low voltages reach people and that they connect to the electricity. Okay,
this brings me to the cost of electricity. How much do I need for electricity? We have seen not only members of the communities who are really vulnerable to some of these charges, we have also members of parliament complaining that the cost of maybe starting to get electricity from Wenreco and also Uganda Electricity Distribution Company, that is UETCL, I mean UETCL, that is also mandated to connect some of these rural persons. has been really a very, very tough moment for the community members. Judith, you have been there, you have connected so much, so many people, over thousands now in this region. What are the costs that you really people put for the consumers to get electricity? We have seen complaints around these issues to do with connectivity. Do you have commission agents or you have staff? Yes, you can pick it from there.
Thank you very much, Frederick. As a company, I would like to make this clear.
Yes.
Our connection and no pole service, inclusive of the inspection fee for domestic customers, is at 770 roughly, but it is like 769 point something.
So you have rounded it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would love to put that figure, because at the end of the day someone will move out with at least 200 or 180 something out of that. But also I want to make this clear. People out there are being exploited by agents. We have private
who has
line.
put these agents, maybe by the...
No, in electricity sector, this is a regulated body. Anyone who have a permit to do line constructions can do that. The regulator allows that. Okay. So there are people who do line construction in this region, and at the end of the day, after they have extended the line to the consumer, they come to us only to now apply for the meters. Or we have to go and ascertain whether the lines they have constructed actually meet our required standards. We have those people in the region. I think within Arua, they are also there, and maybe in other parts of the region. But I want to make this clear. People are being exploited, and at the end of the day, the mentality that our people in the region have is anyone who is doing line extension or any electrician belongs to Wendreko, which is not true. I have recorded this. All our payments to do with connections are done in the banks, inclusive of that 48,000. The 48,000, you're supposed to make that payment in the bank. And then when it comes to, which is the inspection fee.
Yes.
The inspection fee.
Okay.
So, you can use our website or other channels, because we have so many channels where these application fees are, your forms are. You can also go to the satellite offices, pick the application form, attach the requirements, which is maybe the photocopy of your national ID, a passport size photo, your location, the map, the road map, and the certificate of wiring. Bring to the office. After that, you pay as a domestic customer the 48,000 for inspection. It is from there that we shall give you a quote, and all the payments are supposed to be done in the bank. But the challenge we have here, sometimes people also like the backdoor thing. I have a friend in Wendreko. You go and contact individuals. Some of these people are just electricians. They are not actually even staffs of Wendreko.
Okay.
But if you go the wrong direction to give your money at a back door, I will not be liable, because at the end of the day, I have given you a direction that all my payments are supposed to be done in the bank.
But don't you think this kind of people are tarnishing the image of Wendreko? What do you take about some of these kind of issues that come?
Okay, the few that have been reported to us, we have followed it to the DOP, and normally we recover or we help these consumers. Yeah. But also, there are some works that are being done on ground by contractors from REA. Those ones we don't have much control over. But in scenarios that communities have reported, we have also gone on ground to engage them and sensitize them, because some of these contractors are on ground. We need to look at the scope of their works. Are they only doing extension? Are they bringing also meters to these consumers? So that we can help guide the consumers, because at the end of the day, if they are not sensitized on what their roles are, what their responsibilities are, they are exploited.
Okay, let's really wind that discussion to do with prices with this one question maybe. In terms of the meter charges, how much do you really charge for the installation, maybe acquiring the meters and so on?
That's why I said a no-pole service. A no-pole service means it is the meter coming with cables. That means you will not need a pole. A no-pole service is 720,000.
What is contained in that? What are the things in that 700?
The meter, cost of labor, the cables that is going to be used for extending your power from the pole to your house. That is all inclusive in the 720. Then when you bring in the inspection fee, that is 48,000, that is when it will go to around 760 something.
Okay, maybe let's move to the technical person, that is the network engineer. I want to understand from you what is the issues around the load shedding. We have not understood that from technical perspective. What does this mean, and how do you rescue people from these kind of things? Do you have emergency maybe response team that is there to respond to some of these calls that come from people?
Thank you, Frederick. I just wanted to add something first on the submission from Judith on,
Please do that
on the issue.
In a few minutes, yes.
Yes, on the issue of the pricing. That the costs of the no-pole service that she's mentioned are regulated by the regulator, and it's not an amount that Wenreco charges on its own. But on the issue of load shedding, electricity is a very, how would I say it? It's not something that you store. So when it's generated in Nyagak, for example, now, it takes like a second, you know, for it to reach the customer. And at each given point, the generation has to match the demand of the people, okay? The demand of the customers. However, the demand changes during the day. Like during the day now, very many people are out of their homes. They are doing other works, they are busy running businesses, they are in school. Now, in the evening is the period that we call the peak time. Now, during the peak time, the demand grows, okay? So the 3.4 megawatts that we have, that we generate from the plant in Nyagak is no longer enough. And that means we need to pick out some people, pick out some transformers and say, you know, Awindiri, Arua Primary, St. Joseph's College, Wandi, you know, people who are staying in Muni, you will be off on this Thursday. Okay? So it's because the generation capacity during that period, and it's a small window. It's a window normally from around 6 in the evening to around 10:30 p.m. So what we urge people to do, because the PRO and her desk shares this schedule, to say that today the people of Vidiofe will be off for those 4 hours. So we urge people to look out for the load shedding rota and see on what days am I off. Okay? Now what do I need to do when I know that I am on the load shedding rota? I need to make sure that my gadgets are fully charged. I need to make sure that in case I have rechargeable lamps, I have them charged. If I have options of solar lighting, I need to make sure that they are fully charged.
Where is this shared? Maybe let's talk from there. Where is this shared? Okay.
Now that information is shared on our platforms. It is shared on the Facebook page. It is shared on the Twitter page. It is shared on customer WhatsApp groups. Yeah. So that information is out there for people to receive.
Okay. All right. Let's move to the issues of the power. The vandalism of the facilities. This has been so common, and also when you look at some of the issues, there are also illegal connections attached to some of these issues. The PRO, or maybe if you can, in just 2 minutes, highlight on some of the magnitude of this case. Is it true that this vandalism is occurring? Is it true that illegal collections are occurring? If it is true, then what is the response that you have as an institution? Judith.
Thank you very much, Frederick. it is very true that people out there are vandalizing these electricity installations. We have gone on ground to talk to people. Arua, the area that we got our biggest challenge was Oli, whereby so many of our cables have been cut down. But I want to make this clear to the general public. If you think that your neighbor or my neighbor is cutting these installations, maybe the cables, the stair wires, and they are taking for scrap, it is okay. At the end of the day, we all know that this asset is owned by government. Government is going to get a way of recovering their lost asset, because there is no way when a stair wire is removed from the pole becomes weak, it is going to fall down, and when RECO has to come in to replace that pole when we are seeing, and we think it is when RECO's responsibility. At the end of the day, you're going to start crying that the tariff is gone high, the tariff is this. We should know that all these actions contribute to that.
Okay.
Secondly, we are paying for what the bad boys are doing. We well know that your neighbor has been on this power for like 3 years. They are not buying power. And they come and tell you, guys, me, I don't buy power. Why? Maybe I'm on direct supply. And you think the loss is for Wendreco. My dear brother and sisters out there, we the good guys are paying for the bad boys indirectly. So
Okay, maybe,
everyone has to be vigilant.
Yes, this brings me to the issues to do with the financial implication of all these activities that people are doing illegally. Maybe, Judith, what is the cost of this as of now for the institution?
It is huge. It is very huge. We are operating on, let me say, commercial loss that is arising from such actions of about 17%, which is too huge for a small company like Wendreco.
17% means what? Maybe from how much to this 17%? What is the cost ideal that you run for, or maybe, and also the loss that you are saying 17%? How have you arrived at that 17%? Yes, if you can explain it well for someone to understand the magnitude of the issue and the financial implication of the whole cost. Yes.
Okay, expectedly, because we know that this is energy is transmitted through wires.
Yes.
So when it runs, I expect some losses that can occur just in the transmission or distribution, that is the network based. But now that loss is expected to be minimal. If out of my revenue I am, let me say, out of 100%, I would expect that I can sustain, I can accommodate a 5% loss. Okay. You understand? From my total of 100. That is understandable, because I know that when I'm distributing on these cables, there are some small things that can attribute to the losses, which is understandable. But when my loss increases to about 17–18%, I know that there are illegal works surrounding this. That means at the end of the day, the loss that I'm making, my regulator is looking at this and asking why. Now, that is where the issues of illegal connection comes in. Electricity theft is here. Now, all those things are impacting on me, on my revenue that I'm supposed to submit to the person that is buying this power, or the sole owner of this property. And at the end of the day, such a loss when I make, like, let me say in layman's understanding, if there are certain things that are happening in my business, and I know that maybe I had transported this thing at a cost of this, I bought my my equipments from Kampala, I know that when I bring it to Arua, I'm supposed to add 3,000 on each item to sell at maybe 18,000 if I had bought it at 15. But because along the road, maybe the bus broke down, there was some bit of things that happened, delay, and now it has increased. Maybe I had to transfer to another bus. it will make me, instead of charging that 3,000, to maybe increase up to 5,000. You understand?
Right.
So that is what is happening.
Okay, that is from the Public Relations Officer, Westnile, that is Judith. We have had enough from them. We're winding up the discussions with a few of the issues that maybe they will put in summaries. Let me start from Enoch. We're left with just a few minutes. If you can summarize in a few, maybe 2 minutes.
Okay.
We'll give you, okay, and then you'll maybe start from how far we are going and what is the hope that we have for the region in order, or maybe in relation to the issues of sustainable electricity supply by Westnile. Yes.
Okay, Frederick, thank you. Just to add 3 quick things on vandalism. That one, it compromises the safety of our people. If you vandalize electricity lines, it puts people at risk of wires coming down, children stepping on them, and people dying. Secondly, it compromises the quality of supply for everyone. You're putting illegal connections on a transformer that's supposed to supply 200 people. Instead, you have 400 people. The quality drops, the voltages are low. Third, it contributes to the load shedding. There are people who are not supposed to be on the network who are currently sitting down on the network. But I just wanted to add something on the obligations of the customer. The customer is obliged to do some things. The customer, I know the customer has rights. The customer has rights to good electricity. The customer has rights to prompt response in case there are issues with your electricity supply. But as a customer, as a good customer of Westnile, you have obligations. You have an obligation to ensure that you report any legal issues that are happening on the network. You have an obligation to report rotten poles, transformers that are leaking, anything that is sparking, a meter that has failed. That is an obligation on you. And you have another obligation to ensure that in case you're making any changes to your wiring in your house, you get a certified wireman. Someone who will not compromise the safety of your house, Frederick. Very critical, because we have had cases of electrical fires in houses and houses burning. So it's very critical that if you're making any changes to your wiring, ensure that you use a certified wireman. And in case you want information, please reach out to Westnile. Westnile is now available on Facebook, on Twitter, on WhatsApp, but also on the toll-free line on our call center that is on 24/7. The 0800 380 380.
Okay.
And on the question that Frederick finally asked, what is the future for the region? The future is bright. I know, Frederick, you've been moving from Arua to Kampala. You've seen the line coming up. You've seen the 132 kV line coming up. The substation in Muni here, I mean, it's a walkable distance. If you're a bit fit, you can walk there and see that most of the work is done, you know. So the work remaining is the work of the transmission line, and works are ongoing. There are some challenges on compensation of project affected persons along the path of the line, but I'm sure government is committed to solve that.
All right, that is from Enoch. Let me come to Judith. Judith, if you can wind up with a few hopes that you can give to the customers, and also how you people are really going to bridge these issues of consistent shutdowns and maybe setups. Okay.
Thank you very much. I want to give hope to the public that I think where we are, you can attest that there is some bit of improvement, there is some bit of stability, and we are working towards sustaining that. We want to pledge to our people that we are going to give you very reliable power supply. But in the event that we have communicated that we are going to have maybe load shedding, we are going to have maybe planned works, please respond to us, like work in hand in hand with us so that we make this very achievable. And then secondly, my colleague Enoch has said we are available. Westnile is available on Twitter. We have a Twitter handle at Westnile Uganda. We have a Facebook page at Westnile Uganda. We have a WhatsApp page, and we are also available on a toll-free line that he has mentioned. It is 0800 380 380. At least you can use one of these channels to communicate to us. keep us updated about all issues concerning the maybe broken cables, fallen electricity lines, anything that is related to electricity. Don't be comfortable if you don't have power in your house. Please inquire so that we can tell you, because unless you report to us, we might not be in position to tell what is happening within your household. But I want to appreciate you for being very vigilant and always reporting to us. Continue with the spirit. Thank you.
All right, you have heard it all from the team from Westnile Rural Electrification Company. We really need to take the mantle of reporting people who are using electricity stealthily, because we are going to pay for all these things. We have seen improvements in the operations of KOKOLIRIKO. We appreciate you people for that. Also, we appreciate the viewer who has been there with us, and also those who were able to send in their comments and concerns in relation to the issues to do with the operations of KOKOLIRIKO and the power distribution in Westnile region generally. I'm very happy that the team from KOKOLIRIKO has been able to, in a short while, come to the studios to really clarify on some of the issues. Well, we appreciate you people so much for coming. This has been Enoch, who is the network engineer with KOKOLIRIKO, and also the public relations officer Judith, who has been there dealing with a lot of the issues to do with, in case there is a change, this is the person responsible for communicating in relation to the operations. With me, I've been for this show. Actually, I am Drummer Frederick for this show. I've been hosting it from the hour of 7 a.m. up to this time. We're going to have the news in Lugarati that will be brought to you by Fetters, and up next we wait for that. Let me sign out from there. Thank you.
Fingerprint in the valley. There is confidence in the shadow. I will be your strength. One thing's for sure, I am your Lord. Yes, I am. you must know